Yes! It's finally here. I've been waiting for this one for about 2 weeks now. Let's get this big boy in. I'm so excited about this one. I finally got a package. Let's unbox this. Here we got Apple's latest MacBook Pro with the M5 Pro chip. This is the 16-inch version with the 48 gigs of RAM, 1TB storage, 18-core CPU and 20-core GPU. It comes with 3 Thunderbolt 5 ports, a 3.5mm jack, 1 HDMI, an SDX card slot and a MagSafe 3 port. Inside the box, I've got the MacBook's documentation, a quick startup guide, some cleaning instruction, and with the nanotexture display, I have also received a special polishing cloth to clean the screen. For me, this came with a UK plug head as I'm based in the UK, so I'll probably need to buy a third-party adapter for when I'm traveling. It also came with a 140 watts USB-C power brick, which supports fast charging and high power mode with the M5 Pro and M5 Max chip. I really like that Apple now uses MagSafe 3 cable, which safely snaps onto the side of your MacBook, and I think they did a great job matching the colors. However, it would be amazing if they would do this for the power brick and the plug head as well, instead of providing this only in the standard white color, but feel free to comment if you'd like to see Apple change this as well. This is available in both silver and space black colors, depending on your preference, and you can choose between 14-inch or 16-inch version, but I personally went for the 16 space black version, as I like this more. When I've seen it for the first time, I absolutely fell in love with the 14-inch version. It was a no-brainer. It was tiny, light, easy to pack around. The problem is, I do have really thick fingers, and when I tried it, my hand was taking more than half of its size, which really killed the vibe for me. So I decided it's a no-no, and I chose the 16-inch instead. As you may know, Apple can be quite expensive, especially when it comes up to extra storage. And as I previously invested in external SSDs, there was no point for me to pay extra for upgrading, especially now this year with MacBook Pro offering 1TB storage as standard. If you want to jump to 2TB, then you have to pay 400 quid, and then if you want to upgrade to 4TB, it's gonna be roughly £1,000. So I'd say thank you Apple for the offer, and then I'll head to Amazon and look for something else. Currently, there are a few options on the market, however, the price seems to be a bit higher than what I paid in October. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you'd pay Apple's price for the upgrade, or would you look for something more budget-friendly. The external SSD I'm using is from Samsung and is called T7 Shield. I bought this one last year in October, and it comes in 3 different colors and 3 different sizes. The one I'm particularly using is the 4TB black version. This is compatible with Windows, Mac OS and Android. It has up to 1050 MB per second reading and writing speed, supports USB 3.2 Gen 2, includes 2 connection cables, comes with 3-year warranty, has 3-meter drop resistance, and password protection. While recording this video, I thought I might hop back on Amazon and buy one more, as you never really know when you need some extra space. However, I was completely shocked to find out that what I bought a few months ago for less than £300 is now more than double. First, I thought this was a mistake, so I went and gave old Google a little search. And oh boy, I was completely stunned, as some of the websites are even selling them for close to £1,000. For the MacBook Pro models, Apple now lets you choose between a glossy or nanotexture display. However, for the nanotexture display, you'll have to pay £150 extra. This MacBook Pro comes with a Liquid Retina XDR display with 1600 nits peak brightness for HDR only and up to 1000 nits for SDR outdoors. It's also dimmable down to 1 nit, so you can work comfortably in darker spaces. This features a white color P3 display that comes factory calibrated with a bunch of presets, depending on the type of work you're doing. I personally like switching from XDR P3 profile, which I pretty much use for daily work and browsing, to photography P3 D65 for when I'm editing. This basically lets me prioritize either peak brightness for HDR viewing or a more natural and color accurate setup for editing and retouching. Compared to other laptops or external monitors I've used in the past, the color representation on this display is just amazing. You can easily notice more details in the shadow, deeper blacks, richer color and contrast, while the highlights don't look blown out and you can still see the details. I personally went for the nanotexture option, which really makes this the ultimate combo. As previously, all my laptops had a glossy display and I was always kind of struggling to see what I was editing whenever I was working by the window or outdoors. I can only say that I absolutely love the nanotexture display, as it does a really great job fighting reflections and most of the time it's hard to notice any glare.
While customizing my order on Apple's website, I realized that this MacBook doesn't come with a power adapter included. Apparently, this is a new thing in Europe, and I had to buy one separately. The battery takes about 2 hours to fully charge, but it lasts for pretty much all day. I normally like to keep this on power saving to make the most out of it, but even so, I've been able to work consistently in DaVinci and Photoshop for about 9 to 10 hours a day until I had to charge it again.
Regarding overheating, I only noticed this one getting warm while charging, especially below 50% battery while I was still working in DaVinci. I think this might be due to fast charging, as most of these try to pump more power under certain battery levels, but if you know anything about that one, let me know in the comments.
I really love the space black color on this MacBook Pro as it looks premium, but I need to be honest, it comes with trade-offs. Compared to the silver MacBook I worked on, this is a fingerprint magnet, and even the dust is way more noticeable as well.
Anyway, I've done a little stress test to see how this handles some load, and honestly, I've been quite impressed with how well it performed. You can see I had Opera GX open and a few apps running as well, and while on YouTube I can hover over different videos and still get instant playback on those ones, I also have 3 tabs with video playing on the background. I'm gonna head over to Apple's website as I wanna see how fast it loads the animation on there, and you can see this is running smoothly, there is no lag, no frame drops. Everything seems to run normally. I also have my Instagram open as well, and I can scroll and check the content without feeling any slowdowns. My website is also there, everything runs natural and smooth. I also have my email open in one tab, but I'm not gonna get into that one. You can see I have Photoshop open with the project file that I'm currently working on. And on the layer panels, everything seems to run smoothly. You can see how fast I can scroll to the layer panels and there is no slowdown and no frame drop. I can even draw selection with the lasso tool and I get instant feedback. Okay, now I'm gonna undo that as I wanna push this a bit harder, so let's apply some filters. I'll try Liquify first, as this used to be a pain on my old laptop. Honestly, this feels so smooth on this MacBook. This is a massive difference. I'll head over to Blur, let's go Gaussian Blur, and I'll play with the slider so you can see a real-time preview of how this impacts the image. And you can see it feels really smooth. Okay, let's go and add some noise over this. You can see this is still quick and responsive. Okay, now let's try select subject, but before that I'm gonna do the last steps so it knows exactly what he's looking for. Okay, and you can see it took about 3 seconds, that's not bad. Let's go and remove background now. Again, about 2 seconds. I'm gonna hit adjust colors and play with that one as well. And you can see this is really smooth as well. Most of the time I work with files between 700 and 3 GB, but that depends on the project as well, so. Okay, so just to have an idea about the file size, this is 1.7 gigabytes and the project has 26 layers in total. Okay, now moving on, you can see I have Lightroom open as well with 362 raw files from the project I'm currently working on. You can see I can scroll to all the files without any issue, I can even click and select any of them and it still feels responsive. I'm gonna head over to the Edit tab and play with the sliders to see how this reacts. You can see that everything is so smooth, there is no lag, no slowdowns. I mean, to be honest, I really like how this performs so far. Okay, I'm gonna add some linear gradient as well, and then I'm gonna move to radial gradient and see how this reacts. You can see it's quite smooth and it doesn't have any hiccups. And now I'm gonna jump in DaVinci where I'm editing this video. You can see even here this feels quick and responsive, and keep in mind all the apps that I used earlier are still open in the background and running. And you can see I can click at any point in the timeline and I get instant feedback. Okay, now let's take a look at the memory usage. I have Activity Monitor open here as well. You can see that it's currently using 36 gigs out of 48. Apparently DaVinci takes the first place, then Photoshop, then Lightroom, and then Opera is almost non-existent. So you can see you can do multitasking on this MacBook and it still runs without any issues, and the good part is this was quiet all along. To be honest, I never heard the fans kick in since I've got this, which I find it quite impressive. Now I'm going to close the apps as I don't need this at the moment, and I'll show you how much time it takes to import some raw files from another project into Lightroom. Okay. So you can see these are 362 raw files or 10 gigs. I'm going to hit right here for import. And then I'll do add items, and let's see how long it takes. Okay, so this was roughly 15 seconds, which I don't think is bad at all, to be honest. There is one more thing I want to mention, and that's the experience of shooting Tethered on this MacBook, which honestly feels amazing. The file transfer is super fast, the cable feels like it clicks in place, and I haven't experienced any connection issues so far, which is really surprising. As with the other laptops, I always used to experience disconnects mid-shoots or getting file lost or stuck in transfer, which was really a pain for me as it was slowing me down. Now you might wonder, why did I go with Apple and why did I choose MacBook over Windows? I've been a Windows user for pretty much all my life, to the point where I even decided to build an editing and gaming setup, which I pretty much use for the past 6 years. This was my first build, and for me it was really a beast. It never let me down. Whatever I threw at it, it could handle anything. Massive raw files from shoots, video editing, multitasking, long hour of gaming. Even after 6 years, it was still quick and responsive to my workflow. But I needed to switch to something more portable and reliable, as lately I've been shooting mostly on location, and packing a 23 kilo rig was not something I could do. So the plan was to find something that I can easily fit in my bag while being capable of handling my workflow on the go, and also offer me the same performance or better compared to my old PC. Being a product photographer sometimes involves shooting on different locations, and for me portability is key. I had used a few laptops in the past. Most of them were great, but until the point of being too loud or overheating. Sometimes I like to go to Costa or Starbucks to have a coffee and get some work done, or even meet with a client, and while working on the footage or presenting, the fans start going mad, and suddenly it starts smelling like burnt plastic. It doesn't really work for me, as I personally don't like explaining that my laptop won't take off and we are all safe. And then on the other side is the other issue, when the laptop keeps freezing and you start experiencing crashes from Photoshop and Lightroom, and when you're working on a deadline, this really works against you. Some time ago, I started working for a client, and I got to work on a MacBook that I used for 3 years, and I never got those issues. Compared to other laptops that I usually replace after 2 years, the fan were completely quiet, like they were non-existent. It never felt like it's gonna take off. It ran mostly warm, but never experienced overheating, and I don't remember of getting any crashes from Adobe either, so this gave me the confidence to give Apple a try this time. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Windows is bad at all or anything. My old setup was insanely powerful and did serve me well over the past 6 years, but my workflow changed over the time. I shoot more on location and I spend more time editing away from my desk, and simply for the way I work now, I wanted a machine that helps me create more, travel easier and stress less, and for me, this MacBook does exactly that. I had this MacBook for about 2 weeks now, and to be honest, it is quite powerful. I've been able to use this as the main device for client work, video editing and daily activities, and I absolutely love it. Now, for those of you who made it all the way to the end, I just want to say a massive thank you for watching. This was my first review and unboxing video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe, as I'll be posting more photography content soon. But before you go, I have something for you, so I hope you're gonna enjoy this as much as I did when I was editing the video, and I'll see you next time. While working on the footage or presenting, the laptop started... Bazooka! Giuseppe! Blah 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 blah. This was my first beast.